Here's a question for you even as we start. What is the largest lake in Africa? Is it A, Lake Tanganyika? Is it B, Lake Turkana? Is it C, Lake Victoria? Or is it D, Lake Africana? If your answer was option C, Lake Victoria, then you are correct. This is an example of a multiple choice question. In this episode, we travel back in time to understand the origin of the multiple choice question. In the year 1914, there was an American educator called Frederick J. Kelly. After completing his doctoral thesis, he realized that different teachers would give different judgments to students' work, which he felt was problematic. For instance, if two different students wrote an essay on the same topic, but using different words, these two essays would be subject to different judgments by a teacher that would be marking them or scoring them. And therefore, Frederick J. Kelly pushed for a way of eliminating that variation of different judgment on the same test and instead have what he called a standardization in which all students would be scored using exactly the same judgment. And that is where he devised the multiple question test. He reasoned that answers had to be absolutely right or absolutely wrong, and there was no room for one in between, which essays would allow for. The other reason that Frederick J. Kelly reasoned for the multiple choice test was that during that time, there was an increase in school enrollment. Now, with this increase in the school enrollment, marking of essays was taking a lot of time. And yet, he believed, with the multiple choice question, we would be able to quantify knowledge and also speed up the method of marking, because with each question it was clear that this is right and this is wrong, and there was no need of ascertaining whether there was an in-between. And that is where the multiple choice testing started from. However, even during that period of time, there were many educators of the day that argued against the multiple choice testing. And one of the major reasons against it was that it rewarded memorization rather than logical reasoning. And it is quite clear that this reasoning against the multiple choice testing has stood its ground over the years, because today, in as much as multiple choice testing is a part of many academic institutions when it comes to testing of students, it is complemented with the other formats of testing of students, such as the essay writing and the answering of questions. Even as we end this episode today, looking back, one of the reasons that was given for having multiple choice testing was an increase in school enrollment, where it would be easier and faster for teachers to mark the student tests. This was back in the early 1900s. The school enrollment today does not compare with that of the early 1900s. And yet today, teachers, lecturers, professors, they take on that noble duty of marking tests of hundreds of students. Tests which are not only multiple choice, but tests which also include essays and answering of questions. We celebrate and applaud all the educators out there that take on this noble duty. Thank you.